Hello and welcome to the F16 Fitness webinar on nutrition, essentially what to eat. You guys, I know we're doing a great job on the workouts, following the little streaming videos we put together to keep you busy and keep you moving, and I thought I'd put myself today in a comfortable teaching environment in the outfit that I'm frankly most accustomed to teaching in. Anyhow, we're going to get started right away with exactly the kind of nutrition, the kind of food you need to put in your body to get the maximum results from these workouts. I won't kid you, the fuel that you put in your body is the most critical part to your physical health. The exercise is great, it's a huge part of what we do, but if you don't put the right fuel into your body, you will not get the results that you're looking for. It is literally life and death decisions every time you take food and put it into your mouth. If you're consistently consume bad things will happen to your body. It's that simple. And so this list I've put together is very comprehensive. The more strictly you follow it, the better results you'll have. If you're a type A person like I am and you decide, hey, I'm going to get in better shape, I would recommend eating the foods on this list. And if the foods are not on this list, not eating them. That's simple. It doesn't mean you're going to take any pleasure away from your dining experience, but you are going to have to change your habits. You're going to have to recognize that we don't simply put food in our taste to satisfy hunger or taste. We put food in our mouth to fuel our bodies, and in doing so you're going to greatly satisfy your hunger and the food tastes a lot better. You're just going to have to change your habits a little bit. A couple of tips I put at the top here. Major Christian hopefully has made this available so you can print it out. The top picks in each of these categories for protein, fats, and carbohydrates I've denoted with the little plus sign next to them so you know what the best sources are. And I want you to be sure you consume some protein, some fats, and some carbs at each meal. How you time those will adjust depending on where you work out, what time of day you work out. We want to taper our carbs in the evening. Carbs are definitely your source of energy. What does that mean? You want energy for your workouts, but you don't want that stored energy before you go to sleep because it does indeed get converted to fat. Dairy is kind of one of those in-between subjects. I do consume some dairy. There's some great protein source in dairy. I like a little bit of milk in my protein shakes myself, but that is one that you can make a decision whether or not you want to choose to consume dairy or not. If you're going to build muscle, and I mean serious muscle, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to consuming more protein, but I'll address that more in our webinar on supplementation. The last thing I want you to really focus on is water consumption. Consistent throughout the day. You will have to go to the bathroom a little bit more, and that is a good thing. Keep that water consumption start when you wake up in the morning. Keep a bottle of water or a glass of water by your bedside at night so you're constantly sipping on water. It helps to not only curb your appetite, helps all of the systems in your body to work a little bit better. Let's start off with protein and we'll hit a couple of the highlights. When you consider protein sources, fish and meat are going to be some of your top picks. And I'll just touch on a few of them here. Protein powder is one that I use on a regular basis. I don't necessarily have a favorite. I will cover that in more detail in the supplement webinar. But any of your lean meats, gamey type meats are great. Venison, any type of game that you're going to have out there. I like buffalo a lot. Turkey, chicken, duck, all that stuff is going to be really good sources of protein for you. In the seafood category, almost all of it is good. The only thing you have to watch for is how it's prepared. Stay away from the fried foods to the maximum extent possible and really look to go for cold water fish when you can. As you can see, number one choice in there are salmon and trout. Those are cold water fish. Provide some of the omega-3 fatty acids and other things naturally in those fish that your body really needs. Another great source of protein that I consume on a daily basis, and this one I'm going to highlight a little bit, are eggs. Some people worry about cholesterol, and if you're truly worried about cholesterol, you can go for egg substitutes like egg beaters, but I really like omega-3 enriched eggs, and I do end up probably consuming a couple of those per day. Healthy fats, next one. Fats get overlooked. When I was learning about nutrition in the old-fashioned food pyramid, fats were frowned upon. Fats are actually essential and extremely good for you as long as they're healthy fats. You want to look at stuff. I keep a bottle of Udo's oil. You can pick it up at any grocery store and keep that right there in the fridge. And I put it on salads. I put it in my smoothies. I put it on all kinds of stuff. Almond butter, nuts, seeds, avocado oil, natural, organic peanut butter, not with too much sugar, and definitely not with any of the other polyunsaturated fats that we'll talk about a little bit later, and the things that we want to avoid. So those are the simple things that we want to kind of stick to there in terms of the fat consumption. But be sure you consume some fats with each of your meal, and stay away from the saturated fats. All right, carbohydrates, third one. Okay, commonly referred to as carbs. A couple of different types of carbs. What I want you to focus on for your carbohydrate consumption are vegetables. That should be your number one carbohydrate. Vegetables are extremely good for you, and there's lots of delicious ones out there, lots of different ways to prepare them. Fruits are also carbs. I stick with those early in the day. I tend not to consume fruit later in the day because those sugars, even though naturally occurring, can have some harmful effects for you. So you'll see I list all types of vegetables here for you. Sweet potatoes and yams are great. Stay away from the brown sugar and butter all over them, but they really taste good, and that's a great source. The reason I say limited on carrots actually have quite a high amount of naturally occurring sugars in there. But all the other vegetables, I say go for it any time of the day, good for you. The fruits, lots of great categories there, and as I mentioned, I kind of stick with those early in the day. Now we get into grains. Grains are more of a complex carb if you stick for the right ones. They will provide that sustained energy. However, I try to stay away from grains for the most part. As part of your habit, if you do need some bread and things like that, there's definitely ways you can do it. I do have a little oatmeal in the morning periodically, and you can see the other grains I've put up here. What I do stay away from are the very simple sugar-type grains, such as white bread. Anything that's really got that nice white consistency to it, I stay away from. Beans and legumes are another type of carb that are kind of a break-even, more of your early day type of carbs. And then I'm going to wrap that up on carbs and go right into dairy. Dairy kind of fits somewhere in between carbs and protein. There's usually some good protein source in dairy. Greek yogurt has become extremely popular. And as long as you're going with the lower sugar variety, I'm a big fan of Greek yogurt. Same with low-fat cottage cheese. I don't drink a lot of regular milk. I do drink some, but almond milk is a great substitute. And the cheeses, you know, I love them just like you do. I try to use them sparingly, and I do stick to the low-fat versions. All right, let's talk condiments. As I talked about, Udo's oil, flaxseed oil. Most oils you're going to be okay with. You do want to stay away from ketchup and things like that. We'll talk about it later because they have a high sugar content. Seasonings, most of them are pretty good. Just watch for sugar content. Gave you a few ideas on snacks here. I try to stick with nuts as a healthy snack that I can keep on hand. I do consume a protein bar periodically. I just really try to carefully watch the ingredient list to see what's in there. Beverages, water is going to be your go-to guy. I try to stay away from a lot of the artificial sweeteners. I think that they're damaging for your body over the long term. Supplements, I'm going to do an entire webinar dedicated to supplements where you can learn about what you should be taking there based on your specific goals. Now, here's the part that gets a little bit fun. Forbidden foods, and I'll give a little bit of rationale for each of these. Soda, pop, and diet soda. I used to love those big gulps that were big enough you could swim in that you could get from 7-Eleven. So much sugar. So much just simple, unrefined sugar. Horrible for you. Spikes your insulin, does horrible things to your body's ability to regulate its metabolism and fat storage. White potatoes. Yes, I know they are a vegetable, and Idaho, please forgive me. But white potatoes are really a starch that does not do you a lot of good in terms of maintaining a physique. Donuts, one of my favorites, they're on there. Trans fats, these are partially hydrogenated oils. Whenever you see partially hydrogenated oil on the ingredient list, stay away from it. These are generally food items with a long shelf life. All of your Little Debbie snack cakes, a lot of your regular brand peanut butter and things like that you can store in the cupboard forever, that storage is enhanced by partially hydrogenated oils, and it is bad for you. Chips, most salad dressings, artificial sweeteners, candy, ice cream. I list partially hydrogenated oils right in there. Ketchup because of the sugar content, mayonnaise because of the unhealthy fat content, white bread and rolls, sugar cereals, pizza, one of my favorites. There are some pizzas out there you can probably survive. If you go for a really thin crust and load up on the vegetables and the protein sources, that's one you'll probably be able to sneak in there from time to time. Cookies, cake, butter, margarine. Not a fan of any of that stuff. So, I may sound like a lot of gloom and doom, but when you learn to stick to only the foods that are on this list, you'll find that they taste great and that your body will start to operate so much more efficiently. Combine this food list with the exercises in the F16 Fitness program, you will greatly increase your results. I do welcome any questions that you have. You can certainly email me with the email address that's listed on the F16 Fitness website, and I will get to each and every question just as quickly as I can. So, thanks for your time. I appreciate your willingness to educate yourself. Health and fitness is something you don't do for a 30, 60, or 90-day period. It's something you do for the rest of your life. Share the blessing by teaching others that you care about how to eat properly and exercise on a regular basis also. They'll be grateful that you did. Thanks again.